So here's a video about truth-telling. I was not born into a lineage of truth-tellers. Mostly. My mom was gritty and real, but we sat on top of a mountain of secrets. We were intended to keep secret the fact that my dad was alcoholic. And that drove a wedge between me and my friends in late elementary school when I started to develop closer friendships. We couldn't have them over to my place, they'd see. And I couldn't talk about it. I also couldn't talk about my sex abuse, but after 10 years old, I did not remember it anymore. I just showed the symptoms of it. But somehow, boy, it's going to be a really interesting investigative process to figure out how and where I learned to do that. Magic, you want to get in? Come on. Come on, Magic. Let's go. Come on. Lily won't hurt you. Come on. I'll get Lily out of the way. Lily she lurks under the car and snarls at Magic when he tries to get in because she wants me to herself. Okay, go. Go. You want in? Well, forget it. You going in? Okay, forget it. Stay outside. Not my job. Now am I gonna ignore him while he's barking? I like it. He whimpers. That's the one that really gets to me. The barking is easier to ignore. It's up to him. Yeah. So, I don't know how or why I started telling the truth. First example I think of is in college, deciding to leave the seminary. That was a big one. That was a choice for me, a choice for my integrity, because it wasn't working anymore. I could see how lonely those guys were. Didn't want a life like that. The priests who were teaching me. I went to a Catholic college and very quickly, under the influence of a radical priest, Father Sensky, who taught death of God theology and situational ethics, started calling myself an agnostic at best. Agnostic, not necessarily an atheist. And you had to take theology classes at that Jesuit university. And I'm in a place now of really appreciating the way that Jesuit universities push your thinking and push people to take responsibility for the world. I've seen that at my old alma mater, Loyola of Chicago, and at my brother's alma mater, St. Louis University, that they really take it serious to shape people to care about the world and feel responsible. So I like Jesuit schools. But we had to take theology classes, and one of them was the proofs for the existence of God. And I was the biggest thorn in that priest's side. And he liked me because he knew I was smart and sincere. So he followed me out of the final exam and said, "Tell me, John, do you not finally accept the proofs for the existence of God?" And I laughed. I said, no, not even close. No, they're not convincing to me. I'm not absolutely sure there is no God, but that didn't do it for me. I was in a fraternity of guys who were radically real, very funny, working class Chicago guys. In graduate school, I had a massive crush on Madeline Nathanson, and several of us guys did. She was a spectacular woman. She was very pretty, but what a person she was, and humble, but so smart and thoughtful and sensitive. So I saw her about 10 years later and said, "You know, Madeline, that us guys all had a crush on you." And she said, I knew, but my self-esteem was not strong enough to absorb it. I couldn't really integrate it, except kind of from you, because you were always the truth teller. You were the one who would name the bullshit in the room. When that new faculty member tried to teach us about altered states of consciousness by lying on the ground and listening to Neil Diamond, you're the one who sat up and said, "I'm not doing this." This guy, Neil Diamond, is not who stands for altered states of consciousness to me. Any one of us in this room knows more about altered states of consciousness than you do, Bob Nideffer, who went on to a big career of sports coaching. You probably can Wikipedia him. And he's probably, who knows, he's probably great now. And I've also had a change of heart about Neil Diamond since then. But I was proud of that. And she says, that kind of stuff, then when you thought I was great, it made a difference to me. But I've gotten way more that way since I woke up on June 26, 19. And I'm driving a lot of my friends away, some of them intentionally, because I realized I was settling for crap. And I told my son some pretty strong stuff about what I needed and that I wasn't going to pursue him anymore. And I came out as bisexual, which was huge. It was not as huge as it might sound because I had never acted on it, never was a big deal, and mostly about women. But in my 40s, I knew that I had sexual fantasies about guys. And when my new minister came out as bisexual, she said, actually, you think I'm just gay? No, I'm much more dangerous than that. She didn't say it that way, but that's really what she was saying. And when I put up my post, I ended it with, now nobody's safe, but everybody's safe because I don't hit it on people. Well, if you want to get up, you got to come up. Come on. It's your job. No, don't whine. I'm not coming down there. You deal with it. So, yeah, I tell it straight. And on the way back today, I was picturing a conversation with my hosts where I would say, the dog that they like most is the white dog named Lily. It's the only dog they've given a name. Alternately, I've heard that the 4-year-old loves Lily or that the 9-year-old loves Lily. But I said, she's awfully skinny. She's the skinniest of the lot. She's the one I picked to starve to death next. I feel guilty about getting her running because I think I might hasten her demise. But she gets so alive running. It's great. So I mentioned, I said, she's awfully skinny. And the wife said, yeah, I don't know why. She's got lots of food. There's something physiologically that she's going through. Some kind of bullshit like that. So on the way back, I was getting ready to say to her, and I probably still will say something like, you said it's something she's going through. If I offer her a scrap of food, she practically eats my arm. That dog is hungry. I don't know how you convince yourself to ignore it. That dog is seriously hungry. So I was ready to do that. But instead, I was presented with one of the other guys here who doesn't like dogs. And when the dogs come around, he just shoos them away. And his brother's the same way. I don't like dogs near me. And so I said, what is your thing with dogs? Have you been bitten by a dog? No, I just don't like them near me. And I didn't say, I could have said, they are the closest species to us. They are sent to us intentionally. They are a gift to us. I didn't say that. What I said was, a Course in Miracles thing. Everybody who presents to us either offering love or asking for it. And you choose to do neither. You close your heart. And that's a terrible way to go through life. And he says it is a terrible way to go through life. Life is really hard. I said, when you close your heart, you make it much harder. Much harder. I love every one of these dogs, and it's making me happy. And I walked away. And I think he was I think a little drunk. And it'll probably come back. He will definitely resent me for it. And we may end up with some kind of word. But I wasn't going to ignore it. And I hurt for these dogs. And I hurt for him. Dogs are a gift to us. They were sent to us to open our hearts if you would let them. Let them. Don't go through life closing your heart. And, yeah. That's a good place to stop. I'm going to get on a soapbox. I want to find it. Is there even such a thing anymore as a soapbox? I don't even know what they are. But I know that in Hyde Park in New York, they used to climb on top of a soapbox under a streetlight and orate. And so if anybody knows what a soapbox, I haven't even Googled it yet. I guess I can Google it. All right. Bye.